Yeah, so if I cut this part through here, I'm not going to see this hole, but that doesn't really take away a whole lot, right? But I want to be able to see inside and see what's going on inside of this part. It makes it a little bit easier. So then I would have something over here, you know, like I said, would have it here. We could see now these hidden lines, when I copied over, what's going to happen to them now once I do a section? They're going to become what? Solid. So we just changed the layer from hidden layer to object layer. And then so we do that all of those. Is that it? Is that all we need to do? The little hashes.
They need to hatch it.
Yeah, the hatch. So I need to go in. And so let's say I had that drawn in here. So there's my thing, and let's say here, this is my fakey hole. Oh, all right. So let's say I've got it all done. Probably have all this done on which layer? My object layer. Boom, where there it is. So now I need to do my hatch. So I'm going to go over here to hatch. And I want to go in and you just pick the area that you want to hatch. And it'll select anything that's in that enclosed shape. One tip with the hatch, you can't do that. Because, oh, no, of course, that made me lie. Because I just did it, but if it's off, if part of it, your outline is off the screen, it might not catch it, especially if you have a lot of stuff going on. So it's better to always have what you want to hatch all the way inside the screen. What layer should I put the hatch on? What kind of lines is the hatch supposed to be? It's supposed to be thick or thin?
Is it hidden?
It's supposed to be thin lines, right? And so kind of what I usually do is I'll put them on like the dimension layer or the text layer, or I'll make a new layer called section lines. Just like that. So I could make a new layer, call it section. Make sure that it's the 0.3 so it's thin, and I can make it whatever color I want it to be. It doesn't matter. And now I can put that on that section layer. So whatever, as long as it's on a layer that's thin. A lot of times I'll just do it as text because it's kind of goes with text. On the top view, what do I need? So what was that green line? What's that called? What? I think I heard it. Cutting plane line. So the line that goes through here, showing me where I'm cutting, that's the cutting plane line. What kind of line is that supposed to be? What? Thick line. What line type is it? What kind of dashes?
Phantom.
It could be either phantom lines or bigger hidden line dashes. And so I usually like to do phantom, so we're gonna make a new layer called cutting plane. And I'm gonna tell that to be thick and like really thick, so like 0.7. And I'm gonna tell that to be the phantom too. So that way when I draw those lines, it changes that. And then when I go to print, then it's a nice thick line. So what else needs to be on this phantom line, on the cutting plane line?
Arrows.
Need some arrows. How do I get arrows? There's two ways.
You just draw leaders?
I could draw something and steal an arrow. So that's one way. I could just draw a dimension. And then, oh, this is all one piece. How do I break it from one piece into lots of pieces? Explode it. Now I can erase all that, and I've got an arrow left. I can just rotate this. Move it there. And copy it there. And maybe even now pick all this and join it. Uh-oh. What happened? Why did it go solid?
It joined it.
It joined it. And so it chose, because the first thing it touched was this arrowhead. And the arrow was on what layer? The 0 layer. That's what's my active layer. So it changed it to be that layer. So if I go back to cutting plane, there we go. So I want that all to be the same cutting plane. Now when I print, now I've got that. What's another way I can make an arrow? And you can see it didn't even actually join these together.
I guess you could just draw one or insert it from somewhere.
How do I draw one?
Lines.
So here's how I can do that. So if I do a polyline, and I start it here, look at my options. I have an option down here called width, right? So I pick width, and I tell it I want my base width. So I even want this to be a little wider than that. So I'm just going to tell it I want the base to be that wide. Boom. And then the ending width, if I want it to be an arrow, I probably want different start and end widths, right? So I'm going to end at 0, and I can come up and tell it to go right there. So now you can see it's a line with different widths on it, instead of being this kind of whatever the shape this is. So now I can just take that, move it from there to there, copy it from there, oops, there, make sure that's all in the correct layer, and then join it. So now that's all one piece. Okay, so that's an easy way to do that, to make your own arrows. Is just use a P line and change your width on it. Okay, any questions on that? Why do you think I'm going into such depth on this? Because you're gonna do it. So if you haven't done this one yet, then you're gonna have two things to do. You'll do it here as well as isometric, but then also when we come over here on 553, you're gonna take that same drawing, make this phantom layer that I just did, and then change this front view into a section, into an offset section. Okay? So basically just put in a cutting plane line, change your lines from hidden to object, and do the hatch. Okay? You don't have to edit the isometric. You can leave the isometric in full view. Bonus points though, no. But you could do the isometric also if you wanted to. You could do a section of the isometric. That's kind of above and beyond. But for now, just leave the isometric as it is. Do the front view here. Yeah. If you want to do the section isometric, go for it though. Okay? Any questions on that? On that assignment? Yes, no?